Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Guile treatment. Joining us today, we've got Marco, aka Finn Balor, aka the Cheese Master, aka probably some other stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of nicknames in there that people don't know about that I'm glad they don't know about. I don't want the UFS community calling me sugar tits anytime soon.
Ooh, well, we might have to get that one going.
Yeah, oops. That one will have to stay now.
Oops. Hard oops.
So I think today we're going to talk a little bit about some of the MK stuff and kind of what older characters might benefit from that. I mean, obviously when Bebop came out, we sort of saw like a big shift in the competitive meta for sure, where you really just didn't see non-Bebop decks doing that well. I think some of them started to catch on like a little bit later. I mean, I guess we saw Woodman a bit at the beginning, and then people realized that all you had to do was not go to Deadlock, and you couldn't do anything.
Yep.
But you know, there was some stuff here and there. Like you saw like Yamato just like a little bit, but definitely not as much as I would have expected. And then I guess in Rockford we finally saw a couple gateway decks with Yamato and Lilith.
Sniper Joe. He was there too.
Yes, Sniper Joe, built by our guest, made a bit of a splash. But as we sort of talked about before, like, you know, the deck costs like $1 million.
Yeah.
So it's a little difficult to put together.
That's some price inflation. It's just like $1,000. It's like 10 minutes ago.
Exactly. Every time he talks about it, it goes up.
Oh,
yeah, man. It now costs 10 million bitcoins.
It's very unstable, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
Sure.
But yeah, I think with some of the Mortal Kombat stuff, I feel like the characters in general might not be as like powerful on like a raw level as the Bebop stuff, which I think is good.
Well, we kind of said that in our review where they're not as linear as the Bebop characters are. They're just more interesting overall. You actually have to put some work into
Well, I think, I guess like a lot of them have a little bit more like restriction on what they do, or you know, they're a little more narrow, or they actually have like costs associated with their abilities. You know, they have to like pay something
if
to
discarding X
achieve
cards
stuff.
at the top of my deck is cost, that's fine.
Yeah. So, but at the same time, like, there's a few of them that have like really good support that some of the characters that really got displaced by Bebop, you know, probably have the ability to use this new stuff and possibly up their game a bit to get back on the map.
Yep.
So, I guess, like, Marco, do you want to start it off, like, something that, you know, you've sort of thought about, some character that you expect to see more, or?
Well, I mean, like, so there's two categories I can go with here. There are my pet projects, which got some cool buffs in this set, but I know no one will play those characters. Or we can talk about characters that I saw at Worlds that now I think are even better with some of the support. And if we're going to go that route, I think the best way to start is with Dimitri, for example. In Devora's support, you have her 0/4 Foundation Insect Puppeteer, which is an extra activation of Dimitri's ability. So it's like, oh man, I'm sure glad my opponent could only put one negative stolen in their card pool every turn. Oh, now they can put in as many as they have, you know, insect puppeteers, or as many as they have in their discard pile.
Yeah.
So where you can normally only do that before with stuff like Graven Castle Ruins, now it's given the life symbol an avenue to do the same thing. So now you don't have to minus your foundation count. Now you can have a foundation that just acts as Dimitri. And oh, by the way, it readies itself because adding the card to your card pool is a cost. So I thought that was a little nuts. In a more cooler route, you have characters like Ermac that I think have given a lot of indirect support to Ed 9. Fusion of Souls, just right off the bat, is first form, go get me a copy of my characters. So you have easier times recurring Ed 9s back to your hand and building them back up into your hand. You have a card like, let's see, what is it? Serving the Outroll, because you're going to run a lot of 6 checks. This gives like a character like Ed 9 more access not only to damage pump, but more access to damage reduction. So cool things like that. And then, I mean, guys like Aaron Black, Sharpshooter is a card that I feel if people start to play Cammy again, this is a card that you might see at 4X in Cammy, because almost everyone is going to rezone their attack to low when they're playing Cammy, unless it's a spin drive or a gyro drive smasher, because low is the least common block zone that a UFS player is going to play in their deck. And Cammy has always had trouble building up not only damage but building up speed. Yeah. And a card like Sharpshooter, unlike Delta Blue Team Leader, which is unique, Sharpshooter isn't unique. And so you can stack up these +1/+1s and powerful 2s onto your now low attacks, then rezone them back to something else and pile up the damage very quickly, which adds insane value not only to Cammy, but again to like a character like Snake Man. Gives Snake Man just essentially 2 activations of his E every attack or more, depending on how many Sharpshooters you have out.
And that shares 2 symbols with Cammy, right?
Chaos, yeah, it shares Chaos and Order. Yeah.
Yep.
So cool avenues there. I mean, there's tons of like little niche cards that I think are good.
I guess actually, hold on. Like, before we get too deep into this, I realized, I guess, maybe in a more general sense. So like, when you have a new set out, like, what might you kind of like look for that, you know, is something where you like think, oh, you know what, like this character can use it. Like, do you already have like character, like you sort of said, you have sort of like your pet characters. Is it usually something that like you've already played and you see a new card and you go, man, like that deck might, you know, have like some gas now that it has this? Or sometimes do you just see a card and go, man, like I never played this character, but now I might? Like, what sort of like, what is it that you see that, you know, makes you think about like revisiting something or like trying something out for the first time?
So the first thing I normally look at when a new set drops is what did the symbols Death, Good, and Water get? So, you know, what did the symbols that share symbols with my card, Badger Club, get in this set that can make those symbols stronger? And then it's like you said, after that point, I go and look at characters I had played in the past. So anything from Turbo Man, which I played all the way back in 2016, up until Sniper Joe, which I played at Worlds this past year. I look at, you know, not only the symbols I played them off of originally, but I look at their other 2 symbols as well. Like Sniper Joe, for example, didn't seem like he got a ton as far as support goes that really helps him out for good in this set that's anything remarkable. Right. But if you look like off order, he gets a really interesting new kill condition possibility in the card Sand Grenade.
That card is, I think that card is going to make a splash at some point. Like
Sand Grenade is, I think,
powerful ability is nuts.
Yeah, that to me is the most slept on kill condition in this set. The fact that if my opponent swings into me and overcommits and I don't die, it's like, oh cool, you tapped what, like 7 foundations trying to kill me? Cool, this attack's powerful 9 now.
Yeah, that's nuts. Like, I can't believe that card isn't, the current market value is around what, $7-8 right now, and I think after the first couple majors, that card's just going to skyrocket because people are just going to die to it so fast.
Right, and it's interesting to me when you have a card like Punch Walk, for example, which is arguably worse, and has worse stats. Like, it checks a 1, and then you have Sand Grenade, which has a better block, has a better check, has, in my opinion, better overall abilities, is less gated into the character you can play it in, and it checks a 2. Like, Sand Grenade Sniper Joe is terrifying. Like, it's the idea of, okay, this is a 6-speed low for powerful however many I need it to be.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So that's sort of the process I initially go through. And then I look at characters that I might not have played in tournament in the past, but I always had lists for. Like, Lily is a character that ever since she was printed, I've wanted to make work, because I'm a big fan of the card pool clog strategy.
Right.
And then I see, you know, not only did Liu Kang obviously give her whole new support to play with because she shares 2 symbols with him, but I mean, she got some cool cards from Katana. She got some cool cards from, you know, let's see, another character with potentially good, like, not Cassie Cage. She got a cool card from Jackie Briggs off water in the form of Single Barrel.
Yeah. Single Barrel, sure. Yeah.
Just let me filter my hand while I clog your pool. Like, so it's characters like that are then where I trickle down. And if there's something there that I really want to play, that's when I start deck building. I've already built, I want to say 17 decks on UFS Ultra.
Ooh.
And I don't even have access to all the cards.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was like, did you edit your software on your phone to do that? But
well, I mean, like, I can edit the on page like source code, so I can actually add Mortal Kombat cards to the deck.
Okay, cool. Cool.
But I can't, like, obviously, like, the Scorpion and Sub-Zero ones.
Right, because they haven't been added yet.
Yeah. But, like, I mean, I have made decks that are like, oh, man, Fatal Disagreement is hysterically good in Lily, as well as Nightman, who's another character that I always wanted to make work. You know, the biggest problem with a character like Lily was her damage output was miserable.
Yeah.
You just had to rely on them eventually not blocking. But then you get cards like Champion of Combat and Greatest Combatant that even make the early parts of your string scary.
Yeah.
So that's sort of
the one is what when they have a face down.
Yeah, +1 or -1.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so if they like play multiple attacks into you, like their multiple attacks just never deal damage.
Right.
Or if you played a cowboy battery at some point in your life, your attacks all get stronger.
Yeah, that card's okay, I hear.
Yeah, that card's all right, I guess.
I like one of the in that vein with Lily, like one of the cards I saw for her was the Liu Kang's Fireball. Which,
that card's nuts.
Yeah, I mean that card isn't like big stats, but it's like combo attack, which anybody's gonna be able to play.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that it is ranged, so Lily can respond with it and use like the combo E to get another card. So if you go ranged and then that, like they're gonna have 3 cards in their pool.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
Yes.
At that point, you're running 8 copies of Cowboy Battery in your deck.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Because it functionally it will do the same thing. And then you have cards like we mentioned, Greatest Combatant and Champion of Combat, in addition to like Improved Design or Badger Club, where it's going to pile up the damage a lot more quickly, which was always her biggest problem.
Yep. She can also play as action too, Yin and Yang. That's like a free 2 speed on any of her. Is it only combo attack though? It's only a combo.
Yeah, the trade-off there is, do I play that over Gateway Shuffle?
Oh, I think I'd rather play Gateway because she automatically floods anyways. So
she floods by existing. And then lastly, like there's my baby girl Lilith, who has gotten a ton of cool toys, especially Fatality and Brutality out of this set.
Yeah.
While she can't like loop Fatality back to her hand, like she can use stuff like Fulfilled in Battle to put it back, and then like Fulfilled in Battle also works on Brutality. So I have these Breaker 3 blocks that I can put back in my hand, and then I can also loop them with Lilith's ability when I'm attacking my opponent, because not a lot of people are going to waste their time blocking a 5 or 6 speed 3 damage mid attack. They're going to save their blocks for later in the turn. It's like, oh cool, once I get you low enough, now this Brutality becomes live and I win the game.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. And she also she can play out most of Liu Kang supports all 3 damage, so she can loop all that already.
Oh yeah, like Bicycle Kick Lilith is hysterical. Like feed up my momentum and then kill you with this Soul Flash.
I do want to go back to Katana, like a character from Red Horizon who got a lot of help. Even though like Katana's a better Alice in a way, but like Alice gets help from playing the death and evil weapons from Katana support. So
and even like was it Glaive Toss or whatever where you just I guess it's desperation. You just look at their hand, right?
Yeah, Glaive Throw. Yeah,
you name something and then look at their hand and burn them. But it's like
you
if
name a card
you look and you know what their hand is, then you know what to call with Alice.
Yeah, exactly. So. Yeah. Yep.
The character that I think got the biggest boost, not only from Katana support but from Kotal Khan support, was Vega. Evil Vega gets so many fun toys. Like even if you want to play Death Vega and just rely on Katana stuff, like there's a lot of fun stuff to be had with that character.
What card?
Katana support.
This card stuck out. Last of His Kind. That card is dumb. Like in a Vega build.
Is that the Kotal unique?
Yeah, that card's amazing.
Yeah, that card is
just desperation E or attack. It's like +2. Sure.
Yeah, and then it's like
lose 2 life and give an attack -4 damage.
Yeah, to a minimum 1. That's just insane. That card is just nuts. And then he gets Invoking Blood Magic too, because whatever, because he needs a speed reset, I guess. So
one of the many erratas that happened on day 1.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Evil actually had a ton of speed stuff outside of like Solomon's teachings.
Oh, what was it?
It had
Know Your Objective too.
Know Your Objective, but it didn't have any resets or set value things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like the stuff that's like -2 is like good, but it's not like
it's not game breaking.
When you have something that's like they punch in Judy or whatever, and it's all of a sudden it's like 15 speed, and you're just like, well.
And most importantly of all, Vega gets Fade. Like if you thought it was hard killing Vega before, he now gets this Desperation 0 action that just says, no, put that back in your hand.
Do it again.
Play it again. Play it again through my check hack ability and my permanent Breaker 1 ability.
Yeah, I like Fade. I feel like when it got previewed was one of those cards, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, like this is so good." And then at the end of the day, like other than Vega, I don't know how many people are really gonna run it. At least you might run like just sort of like one or two as like a surprise or something. But like I feel like Vega is the person who really is gonna benefit like a lot from that card.
I would say Melina would too, but
Right. It is her support, but and then like Melina has a 0/6 that says, "Oh, you're at desperation. Here's an enhance that says gain a life."
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah, going on that Street Fighter vein, I think Guile got a lot of support out of this set. There were like all Raiden stuff's all charges off of order. He gets Nutcracker, from Cassie, which is like which I was really high on.
Same thing with Power
damage.
Flip. Like it's not a charge, but might as well be. Like it does the same thing, gets all his stuff down. So
or like a Kimbo that just it's like, "Oh, Guile, fill your hand back up."
Yeah.
Because you're Guile.
Yeah, because you're Guile. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he'll be a little interesting. I know it's sort of like he got a bunch of great like order charges, but he definitely like lost like the best order foundation he had, which was the like Unspoken Feelings.
Yeah, the Rio one.
So like, and I mean, that and I guess Partners in Crime fighting as well. So like, he lost two big tools on order. I mean, I guess you can still run like groceries or some of those cards.
You can play Raiden's 3/5 that you destroy something to ready something. You can do that too. God Thunder, that'll work.
But it's just like if you're destroying stuff for that and for
his
Guile, like you're just gonna tear through your staging area pretty quick.
Yeah.
Along the same lines of charge characters, I mean, if we want to talk about charge, Baelcor got a huge power spike from all these order charge attacks you just mentioned, and like Johnny Cage as well has a very cool charge attack. Flashy Shadow Kick is one of the coolest cards I've seen in a long time. It just says, "Oh, I checked a foundation to play this attack. I built this foundation." It doesn't come in committed; it comes in ready. So by attacking you, most of the time, I'm just going to build cards.
Yep. Yeah. Sheepman gets the option to use all the order cards.
I was going to say, Sheepman is another one where, especially with like some of Raiden stuff. I know we talked about him with, I think it was like Electrocute.
Yeah, Electrocute.
Right? Isn't that like the 5 diff? It's a 4 diff if you have like 6 or less foundations. And it's like a 5/5 throw charge.
Yeah.
So Sheepman's just like, this is a 7/7 throw, and if you don't block it, then my next thing will probably get +2/+2 also.
Yeah. Yep.
But if you do block it, it's 7 speed, and you're still going to take 4.
Right. And then like I think another cool thing is, and something I'm not looking forward to, is that like Kotal Khan is one of those characters that it's like, oh man, Vicious was already a character. Now I've given Vicious all these new cards to play with. Like, Sawblade Strike and Vicious is going to be the most annoying thing in the history of the universe, because if he manages to get 1 or more of those in his momentum face-up, he doesn't have costs anymore.
Yeah,
he's this cost-free flip everything in your staging area whenever an attack happens. And you just have to live with it. And
that is true.
Yeah, like that was something, like, as much as I've enjoyed building Kotal on day one, like the idea of Vicious getting all these cards as well terrifies the hell out of me. Because he's a character I feel didn't need stuff. There's a lot of characters I think didn't need support, like added on support, and they got added on support.
Oh yeah, for sure. But that happens though when as sets come out, characters, they have to represent all the symbols, but
Right, of course. And I can understand that.
Rob, what do you got? You got anything else too? You got another one in your pocket?
I guess obviously sort of the deck I've been playing the most was obviously Iceman.
Yeah.
So I sort of like didn't really even think that much about it until I saw like Molina's ultra rare, and I just went like, oh my god, pay 2 to get 2 momentum, like multiple 2, 4 damage for Robot Masters, like everything about this card is awesome.
Yeah,
sadistic ways.
Yeah, that card's awesome.
And like, I don't think that. I mean, the other thing too is Evil has about 6 or that might be generous. It has at least 4 and like maybe 6 like playable 0 diffs, and that's not even counting like Revoke. I mean, if you're like, this thing is, people are already running like Coffee Samba and stuff before. I mean, if you want to run a Coffee Samba deck on Evil, like you should not have much trouble building on turn like 1. I mean, between like Revoke, there's a bunch of good one diffs, and there's so many good zero diffs, and you know, between like Fallen Angels, like to make sure that you'll pass like your next foundation, like some of this other stuff. I mean, it's going to be real easy to build like 3 or more on like turn 1, even if you have like one checks. So like that's something for sure with like really any evil character that you can run a bunch of bad checks and not worry. Like, I mean, it'll still impact you like when it comes to like attack strings and blocking, but you know, in terms of like the most important thing, which is that like turn 1 build, like you should be fine. And like that's important.
Oh, also going back on the Sheepman train, he got a bunch of support from Sub-Zero too.
Yep.
Order stun. Okay. Yeah. So I don't know how much that's gonna play in, but like I can see Deep Freeze being played, Frost Hammer. I don't know about Frost Hammer because that's half dead because you don't really seal a lot of stuff with him. But Icy Slide, I could see that being thrown at like the end of a string, you know, if no one's blocking
if you're
anything.
Like pretty much an all stun lineup.
Yeah, yeah. No one's blocking anything. You get +2/+2 +1. You know, the damage of all your stun ratings. So.
Yeah, like a character like Sub-Zero, like that's one of the pet characters that I've already been testing Sand Grenade in because it's like, oh man, you seem to be stunned out, and if you start blocking, you never get to block again because your hand's going to be empty, and then the Sand Grenade hits you for 1,000 and you die.
Yeah. Oh yeah. One of Sub-Zero's support cards, Resurrected Revenant. That card, I can see that being splashed into any. It's the unique that picks up a foundation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Seals your character.
Yeah. If your character doesn't do anything in your opponent's turn, that's like infinite Guile.
Or even if it's just
faces.
like a once per turn. I mean, honestly, like even you know, I had like an Order Stone Man that I never really like played that much. I mean, you know, I messed around with it a bit, but even something like that for him, you know, if you just sort of are either out of blocks or you know something like in sort of a position where like your opponent might be running Bang, or you know you might be like just you might want to block something. I mean, you can basically like commit to tap like target tap like 2 of their things, and then like seal your character to pick up a block. Like that card's like pretty. Like I can see running that card in most characters that can run it, just because like basically for free, or I guess for a commit, like picking up a like on symbol block or an on zone block, like sure,
or Guile's Face or something like that.
Yeah, and that's the thing too is like there's a lot of like really good foundation blocks in the past couple sets. So
you know what else got a lot of stuff is Order Asimov and Katarina. Not that they needed it, they got a bunch.
Yeah, no, they did.
They got like Saw Blade Strike, Deep.
They got
Freeze.
They got one of the Nutcrackers.
Yeah, Deep Freeze, Frost Hammer, just. It's insane. Like, they got tons of support. Not a lot, but they got some, you know.
Speedball in Asimov and Katarina is probably really good, because that's something you can just make do tremendous amounts of damage, and then you just, you know, seal one of your useless 2 or 3 diff foundations that you weren't going to kill them with on that turn anyway, and be like, well, you can't block this, because now it's effectively 5 or 6 speed, and it's like 1 billion damage, because I'm Asimov and Katarina, and it's a 3 diff, so it's easy to play late in a string.
Yeah. You know, we already said Snake Man for like most of all of Aaron Black's stuff will be good for him. Reese got Sand Trap for you Reese fans out there. It's a weapon throw, so something, you know.
Spike 2 is a character that I've never wanted to play, but with, you know, Devora's Stabby McStabberton ultra rare attack, Avi Post-Tour Charger or whatever it's called.
Avipositor.
Like, that card's insane in Spike 2. Spike 2 is just like, man, I sure can play this one attack 3 times in a turn.
Yeah, I mean, you know, right. If you draw 1 attack, you have 3. So.
Yeah, like, that's not something I ever wanted to happen ever again in UFS, where 1 attack turns into 3 just by existing. So, like, that's more along the lines of what I meant, where it's like there's characters that didn't really need extra tools, and they got extra tools.
Yeah, yeah.
So while there were characters like your Dr. Cossacks or your Malians that got that cool Jackie Briggs attack that draws them 3 cards, that needed that kind of stuff, there are also characters, as I mentioned, like your Spike 2s or your Viciouses or Jets. Like, Jet did not need access to an attack that he can make into Breaker 5.
No, he didn't. No. You did not.
That sure was a choice, and I'm not the biggest fan of that decision because killing Jet was already problematic enough as it is, and now he has a Breaker 5 attack.
And then he throws nutcrackers at you for like 1,000,000 damage after he stuns you out. And since you're a guy, he gets extra damage on it. So,
well, with like EX5, sure.
Yeah, EX5. Yeah, EX5. Yeah.
One of those annoying things, like it is what it is. Like there's some cool cheese I've talked about with like Church and Rodney, where you play push the limit to give your character air and water, and then you play the Jackie Briggs attack and Goro.
Oh, see what you draw like 4 cards, right? That's pretty.
Yeah, you draw 4, or you do something similar. I think you can do something similar with Huitzel, where you also get to draw 4 cards and then put it back in your hand.
Well, that sounds fun.
Yeah, so there's cute little interactions like that. So I mean, the set as a whole has given it's breathed new life into characters that I think weren't getting a lot of love recently, and definitely got overshadowed by Bebop. But at the same time, it gave Bebop characters access to cards they probably didn't need.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I guess like if you were to pick like one character that you think like is going to easily be able to compete with like the current meta, what do you think you would be?
Reptile.
I meant like an old character.
So an old character, my bad. Yeah. Okay, so pre-Bebop, let's Vega.
Okay.
Vega, I think, got a lot more tools. Like, I think one of the biggest issues with Vega was early survivability. And he has another card, in addition to Cage Fighter, he now has the Katana Zero Diff that helps him hack checks. Scorpion also has a 1 diff that will help him hack checks. Like, he has more things he can hide behind. More ways to rush himself into early desperation that aren't, like, absolutely abysmal for him. Like, New Empress of the Netherrealm, I think it is, the Katana 1/5 that says E-flip, lose 3 life, draw a card. Like, that's a card I would play in Vega because, one, like, it gives him draw power, which outside of Design for Combat Off of Death, he didn't have a ton of access to.
Yeah.
And then it rushes him into desperation fast without being too much of a detriment.
Yep. Like Scorpion's support.
Actually, yeah, Scorpion's got the 2 diff that's just like commit pay 2 to draw a card.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like
that thing's.
And I was just looking at From Hell. From Hell's a 3 diff in him when he's in desperation. So if you want to, it's a 4 high 6 desperation. 3 diff. Yeah.
Or you even got stuff like if you want to talk attacks, you have stuff like Demon Blade, which is a very good attack for Vega because that's going to become a 3 diff that will now give his next attack even more damage.
Yep.
So, so Vega I think is someone that can will definitely move back up the tier list, back towards where he was before Bebop came out, because I think a lot of people had Vega up towards, I would say, like around A tier before Bebop dropped, and then he just got overshadowed because he died in 3 seconds.
Yeah, that's also true. Yeah.
I think I'd probably go with like Turbo Man.
Oh, yeah.
The only sort of thing that might be is that if like Reptile and like, if like there's a discard Takeda that's running around, basically if like there's enough people that start like mainboarding or having a bunch of big Cyclone in the side, like that might be a little sketchy, when you just go, I'll first F, and they go, here's 10 damage attack, like you can deal with this before you do anything and you don't get your build. Like that's awful.
Turbo Man.
But yeah, I mean, basically, especially just power flip. If you like play out like 2 or 3 foundations, especially on all, you get what's it called?
It's Power Wheel, Power Flip into Scorch Wheel.
Yeah. Well, I'm blanking on the name. I always think of it as Walk in the Woods. Season Guide.
So you get
like Season Guide and the Sense of Morals, which both don't count the progressive. So it's pretty easy to play like a couple foundations and then pass like the power flip on, even if it's on like a 6 or a 7, and then you can just like flash build like 3 or 4, and sort of continue your turn from there. I mean, the other possibility is always not over yet, and then build some foundations and play it on a 5. And it can just really get him, like, I guess, pun fully intended, off to the races quickly.
Yeah, he has access to another Scorch Wheel too. He has Akimbo as a mini Scorch Wheel.
Yeah, Akimbo is one of those cards that at first I was like, well, I don't know about it, but then like I've seen it, I've played it, and it's like, wow, this thing's like 7-8 damage. It draws me a few cards. It's not bad,
The biggest thing Turbo Man is going to love is that Cassie Cage's Nutcracker is a 4-diff slam attack.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing
with
too.
Metal Man
Obviously,
too.
Transform.
6 low, 10
Yep.
damage, punch to the nuts.
Oh yeah.
That's gonna be a fun time.
Like, do you think
Not really.
like Talbane can play that off of all too? I don't know I haven't really looked at any other slam kicks or punches, but he got Soul Charge too, I guess. I don't know if Talbane.
Power flips are reversal too, isn't it? So
Yeah,
like Talbane can
Talbane can
run that on reversal and give it +2/+2.
Yeah, also,
if he didn't commit.
also Earth Base can run the power flip. It's a safe attack.
Yeah, I wanted to comment on that. Power Flip, I believe, is the first attack they've ever printed where it's reversal and safe at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So you can use it as a reversal, but then it itself cannot be reversaled, which I think is kind of cool.
Which is neat because in the game she actually kicks her opponent away, so it actually is a safe move in the video game. So like it has knockback stats
for sure.
Whatever they call it. I'm not really. I know you're the fighting game guy, so
yeah, it's knockback is the correct term.
Okay, there we go. See, I know stuff. That's cool.
I guess. I guess in some ways, like Princess Perry kind of does, since when it's in your pool, everything is safe.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have printed safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then conversely, you have things like Cove that just are like safe attacks. Those things, or no, not Cove. Pit.
Oh, Pit does that.
Which is just like safe attacks. Those things don't exist.
Mm-hmm.
Get that nonsense out here.
All the base hate that nobody needed anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 3 sets too late, Jasco, but that's okay.
Hey, they're trying, man. They try.
I mean, if you want to talk about hate that I think the game needed, Quan Chi's Fortress looks at Punch and Duty decks and is like, man, I hope you have a way to destroy my asset. Otherwise, you're only playing 1 copy of Punch and or Judy a turn.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think Outworld Marketplace is a pretty decent card for stun defense in a way for symbols that I don't know, those symbols.
It depends. I mean, it's pretty momentum hungry.
It is.
Obviously, it also depends on what your attack lineup is.
Sure.
Because if it's like similar to Jurassic Jungle, where it's like it's the kind of card where you definitely want to be using it more than your opponent is.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is like for Marketplace is like if you're giving all their stuff throw, and they're getting momentum, like they can just do it right back to you.
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah, true.
Like you definitely don't want to be like too keyword reliant if you're running Marketplace.
Now another character too that got some help was Sasquatch.
Electric Fly Sasquatch.
That he got Jackie's ultra rare attack. Not that I would probably end up playing that over Dual Palm Fury, whatever, Fire Palm, whatever.
Fire Palm Fury.
Yeah.
I mean, it's less hoops.
It's less hoops to jump through for one more difficulty.
Also, it still has a 3 check, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's like a 6/3.
Yeah.
It's a 6 high for 6, so it's an 8 high for 7 in Sasquatch.
Yeah, it's Deadlock Reversal, which is the first time we've seen that, I think, and then it's a slam and tech card as well. Yep. Yeah. That card's pretty sweet. I think Squatch got a lot of stuff. I don't know if I know he's still in some people's radars, but I haven't seen people play him a lot just because he seemed to be his attacks have been lacking compared to Bebop attacks, I guess, right?
Yeah, he's just fair. If you compare him to let's say off of Earth, you compare him to Vicious. Well, Vicious is just better.
Yeah.
If you compare him to Spike 1 Dot, it's like Spike 1 Dot outclocks him. Spike 1 Dot can output damage just as good, if not better.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just he's one of those characters. Like Sniper Joe is along the same mold of it's a character that's really good at creating big numbers, but it's a character that goes about it in a fair way.
Yeah. Squatch also gets Flashy Shadow Kick. So there you go, kids.
Yeah. So when you're gonna tap to use his ability on your next turn, you're building. So you're not really losing a whole lot. So that's good.
Yep. If there was something like what was it? Is it Glacial Assault, the one that you destroy and you get a face down?
Yeah, it replaces itself.
You could use Warrior Descendant to do that if it's committed or whatever, and then you can just
doesn't even have to be committed, right?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be, but it's
right. I mean, you could use it, give it +1 speed, blow it up for 2 damage, and then bring it back and give it +1 speed.
Yep.
Yeah. The cool thing will be with Glacial Assaults and Vicinity Blast, where it's you blow them up and then you still get to have foundations afterwards.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, Vicinity Blast is one of those cards that I think really helps out a lot of the characters on those symbols who are looking for like a kill card in a way that isn't overcosted.
I'm not happy that Spike 1 now has an extra Swimming Bird in his gun.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, oh, that's cool, man. Like, that card has identical stats to Swimming Bird almost.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, neat, you blocked my birds. This is almost the exact same thing.
In the same vein, like Lightning, the card Lightning really helped Sheepman. I think that will help Sheepman accelerate his staging area hate because he's gonna stun people. He's gonna stack one, give him a committed one, and then you can bring up the one that you gave them, or whatever. I don't know. Is it you choose or you choose? So you can. You can stun some. You can give them a crappy foundation, and then pick one of the good ones that are left over that you stunned, and they're down. Quality foundations, I guess. I don't know if that's a way about.
I mean, I guess like the big thing is you'll need the momentum already.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But
a Sheepman, normally your first attack normally hits because it's always I don't know. It's Sheepman.
I mean, you can just use like Vicinity, or not Vicinity Blast. Electrocute like the turn before.
Oh yeah, that electric fly is just dumb, and it's a 7.
Electric fly is dumb in everybody.
Yeah,
it's just dumb in everyone.
Yeah, it's just dumb. Like Yamato got help that he probably kind of needed, but
he definitely needed the help. He definitely got the help he wanted.
Yeah, like electric fly Yamato's pretty nuts. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah,
I like that. That one's fun. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah,
we have different definitions of fun.
Oh,
and conversely, where you have older characters that got a lot of help from this set, you have older attacks. I feel, or older foundations, or just older cards in general that get like a nice breath of new life in here. Like when we mentioned characters already, like one of the attacks that I really think, based on a lot of the characters in this set, that's going to see more play that kind of fell off the radar for a lot of people, I think, is Hyper Bomb.
Oh.
Like Hyper Bomb we saw in I believe it was in Asimov and Katarina, the deck that James Stevens ran to second place at Worlds. But those symbols weren't seeing a lot of play, and now that those symbols have gotten better, and you've gotten two characters specifically in this set that interact really well with Hyper Bomb, because you have Aaron Black, and then Hyper Bomb as a weapon, so it's really good in Katana. I think you'll see that attack get played more. It sort of got overshadowed where it was I could play Blazing Storm, or I could play, or not Blazing Storm, Cowboy Battery, or I could play Hyper Bomb.
Yeah.
It's now there's a justification for playing one over the other in the form of playing Hyper Bomb again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you got to play it while you can, because that cycles with the next set.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yep. Whenever that may be.
Yep.
And whatever it may be.
It's Street Fighter versus Darkstalkers.
Yeah, I think that's what it's supposed to be.
I mean, you keep saying that, Chris, but I certainly haven't heard anything official to that effect.
They basically did it on the Joffus, man. You gotta watch those Joffus episodes.
I'm just gonna throw this out here. Mortal Kombat was announced as a license that Jasco acquired 3 years ago.
Yep.
So if they can hang on to the Street Fighter IP for a while, like they hung on to Mortal Kombat, maybe Darkstalkers versus Street Fighter isn't the next set, but in 2 years we'll probably get it, and then it'll be worth it.
Yeah, I mean, I Street Fighter. I think was announced at the same time, wasn't it?
It was announced.
I think so. Yeah.
It was either then or it was announced the next year at Worlds in Vegas, because 2015 was the last year we had Worlds at Gen Con.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
And that's when I got my...
Didn't they announce that...
the 8-bit Ryu? Wasn't it the 8-bit Ryu and Scorpion was supposed to come out, and then it didn't?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, so it was 2015.
Okay.
That's right, because I remember getting the promo Ryu that people at the time weren't concerned about. They're like, this guy's probably okay.
Do you think Sasha got help out of this set at all? Because, Sasha needs all the help she can get, man.
I mean, she might have gotten help, but the question is it enough?
No, I don't think so. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I don't know if it's enough. Conversely, a character that got avenues to actually play, I think the way they were originally intended to play, was Heidi.
Oh.
Because Heidi got a lot more tech attacks specifically in this set, which is what a lot of her support was originally catered around.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of a keyword that just kind of sat on the wayside, got some support, but nothing on her symbols for a while. And now all of Jackie's cards, I think, have tech in terms of attacks.
Aaron Black's have 3. He has 3 of them.
Aaron Black has tech attacks as well. So now while the more popular method of playing Heidi will still probably be like no attack, build my Exodia mech and win the game. Like now you can actually play it where it's like, okay, cool. Like I can actually use some of her foundations if I want to play like a tech lineup. So I think that's kind of neat.
Because what Iron Grits? That's pretty much that, and Iron Knuckle, maybe in Cannonade. Well, you know, the one got banned. The one card got banned. So
Stormoff
that got banned, but.
Yeah, I mean, she has 2 mechs that specifically interact with tech attacks. So it's like, this is what we originally wanted you to play.
Yeah.
But we never really gave you an avenue to actually play it well. So you went with the idea of, I'm just going to play no attacks and build this super mech.
Hey, you can't control how your players are going to play your game.
That's true. You can try. Like, Jasko certainly has tried.
Yeah.
Boy, howdy have they tried. Deadlock was Jasko's direct way of trying to make it so players wouldn't play control decks. And unfortunately, Deadlock actually made more people play control pieces because it's like, these Deadlock abilities are actually really good. So I'm like, and they offer some control value as well. Like, it's not like all of them are just, these broken aggro abilities. Some of them are very control oriented. So
now,
like Stoneman, for example.
Like, do you think, like, I know it's kind of weird to say, do you think any characters got worse out of this? From getting the support? Like, there's like stuff that really tailors to just beating these characters now?
So I think there are characters that didn't necessarily get worse, but like there were characters that didn't really get anything of value out of this set.
Okay.
Like a great example is Tengu Man.
Yep.
Like Tengu Man, of course, who got like Let's Party out of Cowboy Bebop. Well, the only like 2 1-check attacks in this set don't share symbols with Tengu Man. So he's kind of out of luck there. And he didn't really get anything that enhances his existing kit. Like, his playstyle would not change, and your Tengu Man list probably doesn't change that much either. As far as, like, characters that got, like, specifically worse, I mean, anybody that runs, like, ironically enough, you could argue that Snake Man got worse. Even though he got support from Aaron Black, Reptile exists.
Yeah.
So, like, man, that's cool, Snake Man. Fight a guy who's actually a lizard, and he's just going to make your damage pump look non-existent unless you place 7 attacks in a turn.
Yeah, that's also true. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so it's funny, like, there are characters that got buffed, but also somehow got curbed in, like, you know, by a character like Reptile. Like, Reptile, like Spike 2, for example, plays mostly high or low attacks.
Yeah.
So Reptile's just going to be like, well, I hope you have a bang, otherwise you're probably not killing me with these.
Yeah.
They also printed a lot of anti-discard stuff, which I didn't think was incredibly necessary. I mean, like, yeah, like now that a better discard character exists in the form of Reptile, I mean, Ed9's not bad, but Reptile, I think, does it more efficiently. And he can also do it on his opponent's turn if he's playing reversals.
Yep. Right.
Like, now you have anti-discard stuff, so yeah, that you know, reins in Reptile a bit, but now, like, you have characters like, oh, well, Cadenza got even worse, and he was already trash. Like, Ed and 9 now have, like, 3 or 4 more cards of anti-discard that they have to worry about specifically.
Yeah.
So,
ironically, a couple of those were on Reptile's support. One big one's on his support. Acid Spit.
Yeah, it's
Search for the Saurians is an anti-discard card.
Yep.
In the character that's all about discard.
Yeah, and what Acid Spit? It's like, I'll make you discard, but also if I get discarded, we both I'll discard, you discard more. Oh, you discarded one of these, I'll discard more. Neither of us have hands now.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, speaking to Reptile specifically, a card that I think a lot of people I don't think have talked about yet in regards to playing it in him is Yamato Spear, like the regular one, the 4 mid 4. Like, I'm just like, oh, that's cool. It's like running 8 copies of Claw Swipe because Yamato Spear gets +2/+2 if your opponent has more, ready than committed foundations.
Yep.
So it's just like, well, that's almost always going to be the case. So now I can...
Especially on your first attack.
Yeah, so now I can throw this 6/6 at you and follow it up with a 6/8 or a 6/9. Yeah, Claw Swipe becomes like a 6/9 or something.
Yeah.
So it's just like, yay, all these fun, well-statted attacks. Like, I get to make big numbers for a lot easier because we essentially made clones of existing attacks, which I think is kind of neat.
Now, with, Neomax leaving, we know we got like a kind of like a different topic of this, but just kind of going back to older cards. Like, Coward Hand, it's gone, so now we have Venomous.
Yeah, which is a much fairer version.
It is a much fairer version. Do you see any other? I haven't really looked at. I've seen, I've built some stuff, but like, are there any other cards that remind you of older cards that have become either more fair or maybe gotten a bump a bit? Kind of like, in a way, like kind of like how you said Yamato Spear, Little Yamato Spear is basically Kale Swipe, which is what I call it. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny that you mentioned Neomax specifically because Cassie Cage is just almost a worse version of Terry 2.
Yeah,
so
I mean, she wishes she had Terry's support so bad.
Yeah,
I don't know why that character's top enhance ability doesn't say and.
Yeah, it should. It really should.
I mean, like that's okay, whatever. I mean, Terry got +1/+3 just for having one foundation in front of his attack.
Yep.
Cassie gets 1 or 1, and it has to scale. It's interesting too because man, I wish Trinity Geyser was still a card. But oh, how I wish Trinity Geyser was still a card. But like things that look like they serve a similar function as to cards that were in Neomax. I can't say there are things that jump off the top of my head. I know this character actually rotated out, I think, a while ago because I think it was a Ruler of Time character. But like Cassie Cage can do something similar to what Psyche could do with Fort Neegly, because with her once per turn enhance, that doesn't say foundation. It's just like, oh man, you're attacking me? I'm going to put this Fort Neegly in my card pool, and I'm going to build a foundation off of that. And your turn's probably over attack-wise, and I got to +1 foundation-wise. So go me.
I don't think I've ever noticed that.
Yeah, I mean, it's more just how you can buy it back.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other guys in Neomax. I mean, like, I can't really, like, Kyo, I don't think so. Like, now, like, I'm actively going to pull up the characters from Neomax because I can't remember half of them because I didn't play that many of them.
Yeah.
Let's see. Neomax.
Well, so, Rob, like, do you have anything else you'd like, other, and I know, like, you're high on Iceman. Is there, like, another character that you
I like Iceman. I mean, I still don't know if I'd play him.
I know, but you play him. You play him for the real format that you really like. So, the Robot Masters format.
I mean, let's see. I mean, like, what other characters? Like Turbo Man.
Does Kung Jin support enhance anybody? Like, I know Proto Man.
Who's
Kung Jin? Like anybody or pre-Bebop? Like. Would Proto Man 2 or Proto Man 1 really, he plays ranged attacks, and a Rising Monk would be pretty good with, coupled with that and Shield Ram, since he mostly plays ranged attacks. So,
yeah, I mean,
I don't know, just throwing things out there so we don't have dead air. So,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Marco.
I was going to say, like, I finally thought of a character from Neomax that is in this new set. Like, Shinnok is just the second coming of the band Iori.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm sure people have mentioned that, but I mean, Iori 2 was, like, as far as the, pay life to pump the speed of my attack thing was concerned, and then I get to draw cards off of that, it's almost the exact same ability. With Iori 2 you were usually paying 3 to get 3.
Yeah.
Unless you were playing a Divine Trib, then you paid 2 to get 2.
Mm-hmm.
With Shinnok now, it's just you always pay 2 and you always get 2 speed. And then the draw ability is a little bit more gated. Like, now you have to be in Desperation. But, like, with Shinnok, it can't be negated. So it's like, I'll take the trade-off of having to be at less than half life to draw 2 and discard 1 for the bonus of, well, my abilities don't get negated.
Yeah.
Like, you just have to hold whatever I throw at you unless you have a bang and pray that whatever I'm throwing at you isn't going to kill you.
Mm-hmm. Now, kind of opening up the format to, like, Jasco Legacy, if that ever becomes a thing, does Iori 1 just, like, does Iori 1 just start running over everybody with all these Desperation cards and,
I mean, Iori 2 does.
Well, yeah. Was he even legal is he legal in that format? Does it matter?
I guess, right?
Depends on who you ask. Like,
yeah.
If I ran that format, everything is legal because
fair enough.
Broken stuff beats other broken stuff.
That's true. Yeah.
That's my horribly flawed philosophy on that. But,
did you hear about my sort of like joking combo for Jasco Legacy?
Oh, tell me more. This is the kind of stuff I like to discuss. This is the cheese.
So you play a Where There's Smoke to put 2 copies of Quick Taste into your card pool.
Yeah.
Then you play a fatality.
Oh God.
Remove whatever you want to remove. Then you play another fatality, and you do the first E on Hakushu of Death to
Oh
get
God.
back the other fatality, and you just loop it forever, and you pay 2 to get it back, and then you gain 2 off of the quick.
Oh, that's funny.
And you just pass them on 3s and remove your opponent's entire discard pile.
That's hysterical. That's really cool.
I mean, I don't know how you like. I mean, you could do it for like literally anyone that has chaos, but
Yeah.
you know, the question is like milling it out. I mean, maybe you do it with like Kung Jin. He can mill. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's sort of a bridge that, you know, we'll cross probably never. But it's fun.
I just play Yin and Yang and Joe Hill. And just be like, you sure will put 3 cards in your card pool and like it. Because I played 1 attack.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Go me. But yeah, no, like, I think overall, I like this set looking at it more than I liked Bebop looking at it, if that makes sense.
No, I understand that. I agree too.
I mean, I feel like this has a lot more sort of like tricks.
Right.
Yeah, it's a little bit less just like hitting people over the head with like baseball bats.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's still big attacks, like there's still big numbers, but like it's not every card.
Yeah.
And,
right.
You know, there's a little bit more sort of like shimmy involved instead of just.
Do you think that's because we have 18 characters and not just 9?
I mean, sure, I guess. I mean, right. It's like if every card in the set was like another like scorpion or reptile or something, then we'd just be like, here we go again.
Yeah.
But right, I mean, you have the people. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's like, I mean, I'd have to look, but like, I'm sure there's probably some characters in here that don't actually like pump stats, right? Maybe not.
I'll take a look.
But
I think Raiden doesn't technically pump any stats.
Yeah. Oh, Aaron Black doesn't either.
Okay.
Yeah, Takeda doesn't. But like, so I think.
So
I think with this set, like and I'm going to give a shout out to Jeremy Ray when I bring this up. So he mentioned a long time ago that Cowboy Bebop is essentially like very basic characters with fancy wrapping paper put on them. Like all the characters in that set, with maybe the exception of like, I don't know, Faye, have really basic abilities.
Yeah.
They're just dressed up in a way that makes them look more exciting. Like conversely, you had a set like Street Fighter, where you had a lot of characters like with interesting kind of niche sort of abilities, but they were all very underwhelming and underpowered, and their support didn't make them that much better. Like, I don't think it's an accident that a set that looks like this came after those 2 sets specifically, because they took the mistakes they had with Street Fighter, which was essentially an 18-character set that had a lot of just dead air in it. And then the mistakes they had with Bebop, which was a 9-character set where everybody had nukes in their pocket.
Yeah.
And they kind of merged it together. So like if Bebop had been an 18-character set, I feel like it would have looked a lot more like Mortal Kombat, where it's just like you had to flesh out your broken ideas.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just like, oh, pay 1 life, my attack gets 2 damage, and if you don't block it, I draw. And oh, I also have this flip effect as well.
Yeah.
Or a character where it's just like, I have the best offensive and defensive abilities in the game, and they arguably don't have costs in the form of Spike 1. Where it's like all of these characters, I think, are sort of a love child of what Street Fighter wanted to do and what Cowboy Bebop did do, which is we'll give you broken stuff, and we'll also give you really cool and unique characters, but we'll mold it together in a way where nothing is like, people aren't going to gripe that something should be banned on day 1. Unless they're talking about like the Takeda Infinite, which is just no surprises beats that deck. Congratulations.
Like every deck.
Pharaohman beats that deck.
Yeah, Pharaohman beats that
deck. Not for free, but he beats the combo.
He beats the combo for free.
There's a lot of ways around it where it was just like, oh, get hit by 4 swimming birds a turn. There's not a lot of ways around that.
Yeah.
My opponent just had to roll 5s a bunch. So this set, I think, is a good step in the right direction. Like the biggest thing I was worried about with Mortal Kombat was that they were going to power it down compared to Bebop, and then it would have just made the set irrelevant. This set, it's not powered down compared to Bebop, but it's power that's more dispersed, which is good. Like, I think every symbol in UFS got at least 2 cards in this set that they are more than happy to use across a multitude of characters. And then it introduced new game plans. It introduced things like, oh, my attack is a printed damage of 3 or less. That's okay. They eventually scale up till they become like 7 damage beat sticks. Or like my attack is a printed damage of 4 specifically. That's cool. Now like my cool utility 4 damage attacks that I couldn't really run in a lot of decks see more value. Like Slaughterhouse is amazing in Devora. Like that card is insane. It's just like, oh, this is the only mid I'll play, and then I'll just play a bunch of highs and lows that are also 4 damage. And then I don't have to spam out 5 attacks in a turn with Devora. Instead, I just have to play like 2 or 3, and now I'm just hitting you with bombs.
Yep. Yeah, I also like the kind of in the same vein, like the defensive options they put into this set, like sense of morals they put in, like even telekinetic mastery. If you're running a bunch of 6 checks that, you know, someone's like just spamming damage, you just spam it down, speed or damage, and you just block it. You know, there's a lot of good defensive options in this set, I believe. Compared, like there were really good defensive options in Bebop, but you know, like symbols that didn't have stun hate or had it and you know, like lacked it.
I feel like it's still pretty swingy. I mean, I think it's kind of what, like, the defense is good enough now that I think, like, as long as you don't get just, like, absolutely blown up on, like, turn 2 or 3, like, you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Like, this thing is, like, if you can make it, like, if you have a good build and, like, you don't get your hand just, like, completely ripped up or, like, something, or, you know, or, like, eat some giant stun that you aren't prepared for, like, on turn 3, like, you'll probably be okay. But, like, this thing is, like, as long as, if you can get to, like, turn 4 with, like, some defense, like, you know, you can sort of expect to be able to play, I think.
Yeah.
Like, that's good. Like, that was sort of, like, kind of the feel-bad of Bebop was just, like, there was certain things where, you know, if your opponent just had the right hand, like, you really felt like you couldn't do anything.
Right. Like Jet, Vicious, even Spike. Like, that was why Twinkle Murdoch got banned. Like, Twinkle Murdoch just sat there until she found the right hand, and then she won the game.
Yep.
And there was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, it'll be really funny to see if there's a way to make Distraction, Destruction, Shinnok work. Where it's just like, well, you sure can't negate this. You just kind of have to deal with it. I hope you didn't take any momentum at some point.
Do you think Felicia had got, you know, she's always been one of those characters that's been close to the top tier, like, before, you know?
I don't know. I gotta say, like, I mean, having played Felicia, like, just a couple weeks ago, I mean, her biggest issue, at least in my opinion, I guess the thing is, I didn't play her a lot before, but I feel like one of her biggest issues is, like, she really needs, like, a turn or two to even, like, be able to start playing. Like, that thing is, like, she needs to get that momentum to even go. I guess, like, she has, like, Fatality. Like, you could run Fatality and, like, you know, some other ways to just get, like, some snap momentum right away. But,
Bicycle kick is a good one,
that's,
too.
if you've checked one. But that, like, the issue that I really had was basically just in, like, dealing damage. I mean, I don't know. So, like, for instance, like...
That's why you play Electric Fly.
Like, I was going to say, but yeah, I don't know, like, how much it, like, just because of the way the keywords are in this set, like, you know, I know that, like, Raiden's got, like, a bunch of charge stuff, but, like, I don't know what's a slam or, like, what's a punch.
Electric Fly is, you know, a slam.
So, like, something like that is, like, definitely helpful. But, yeah, I mean, her issue is more, I think, like, a bit of, like, a speed issue. So
you mean like as in turn, not as an actual.
Yeah, as in turn.
I see what he's saying.
Yeah. I know we know, but the newer players who listen to the podcast may not know. So
actually, if anything, Felicia got worse because she lost Navos.
Yeah,
and like a lot of like the Robert support.
Do you think now like she's more turning into more like a water character now or a chaos type character where she's not going to rely on like that kick lineup anymore? Like she could.
I mean, like, you can't rely on that kick.
The kick lineup is more or less gone.
Yeah,
until she slowly puts together a new one.
Yeah.
The air kicks is gone.
Yeah.
I think you're much better off. Yeah, I mean, I'd say you're much better off on water. I think water is a really, really deep symbol right now. I think it has a lot of good defense. Yep. I think it definitely like has. I guess it loses card handed, but you have the reptile one to replace it. So like. You're okay. You're not on life.
So I think one of the things that could help Felicia, like specifically, like I almost feel like she maybe becomes a chaos character.
Yeah.
Because, like, in the case of, like, let's say Devora's support, you get prolonged espionage. So a lot of Felicia's attacks are usually going to be, like, 4 damage to start.
Yep.
So you have something that buffs them by 1/1, so it makes them more scary.
That makes Smite scarier. That's for sure.
Yeah, and then, like, conversely, like, if she's playing, let's say, like, a lot of low attacks, like, I mean, I know a lot of, like, when I was playing Felicia, I went more with, like a low sweep and then ended it with, what's that card called? Rolling Uppercut?
Yeah.
Like, now you have things like, you know, Sharpshooter from Aaron Black, where it's just like, okay, well, you play a bunch of lows, like, here's some value there. So, like, honestly, Felicia is one of those characters that I felt has been consistently indirectly nerfed for a long time.
Sure.
Like, ever since they changed Ever Hopeful.
Yeah.
Like, that character has slowly lost value, and losing Neomax, I think, was the last nail in the coffin for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which I'm okay with. She dominated.
Like,
she dominated for a while, yeah.
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't. I mean, air would probably be, like, maybe, like, the third symbol I would look at for her.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I think I would definitely look at, like, the water and chaos before that.
Sure.
Unless, now, Sand Grenade is not anything that's, like, a slam or, anything like that, is it?
It's range, tech, powerful.
So the card you would want from Aaron Black is you would want Slide Shots.
Slide
That
Shots.
is a kick.
Yep. It is a kick.
Okay.
Yep.
There you go.
So there's that. Like,
one character.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Marco. Finish your thought. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, like, it's interesting because, like, in the Street Fighter set and then a little bit in the Bebop set, like, Punch and Kick got a lot of good value.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the set where it's like, hey, don't think we forgot about Charger Tech. We're gonna give them a ton of cards because they didn't get anything really. They got some stuff in Bebop, but they got, like, absolutely nothing in Street Fighter.
Same thing with Fury. Fury too.
Yeah. Fury got a ton of stuff in this set.
I think every single Scorpion attack is Fury.
Yeah, and Scorpion has a foundation that just says, recur this Fury card off the top of your discard pile for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And look, you asked if Sasha got better?
Yeah.
Sasha sure has death.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And Scorpion does have a lot of low diff Fury attacks just hiding in his lineup.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's definitely helpful for her, just because that was always sort of the issue. Is you're like, hey, I get this, like, check boost for Fury attacks. Okay, yeah, all my attacks are like 5 diff 2 checks.
Yep.
Just like,
yeah, like, it's
great. I'm glad that
all of them
we're
are
checking a 3 on this 7 diff.
Yep.
Her options got extended. Like, Dr. Wily is the same way. Like, Dr. Wily 2 Dot has 2 ally throws in this set.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which is really awesome for him. Because now he has a way of guaranteeing that he does damage and has attacks to loop. And one of them shares 2 symbols with him. Actually, both of them share 2 symbols with him, because there's Minion Grab and then there's the Quan Chi one that's just a 6 damage ally throw.
Yeah, yep. That ignores
Is
progressive.
Telechoke an ally throw or no? Is it just
No.
Telechoke is a ranged throw, so you can play it in Lily and just have this 11 damage grab that they probably can't block.
One character that I'm kind of excited to build that I've always looked to when a new set comes out is Bison. Just because of his, his foundation destruction and negation ability for 2 life. So he got a lot of help from multiple characters across the set. So, and I think the issue is that he's never been able to put together a solid lineup, because he's charged.
Speaking of someone that should have playable while committed, like I don't know why he's like E.
Yeah,
like even if it was something like the first Vincent Gray, where, like, he had to commit a foundation or something. Maybe Bison could be like, burn yourself for a little bit to allow you to, like, play this E while committed or something.
Like what? But he's charge, kick, and
I think it's like charge, kick, Fury. I think
charge, kick, Fury. So yeah, he can still he gets all the Scorpion support. So there's and their Flame Port is a Fury kick. So he gets value out of Scorpion stuff. So that's something
you sure know what's going to be fun about playing Bison? Think how many people you can nearly burn to death by playing Psycho Crusher now.
Yeah.
Look at all these cards with Vitality Calls.
Yeah,
even if it's 1 or 2 or like some irrelevant number. Like, there's one that's a 3-cost Vitality card. It's just like, that's fine. I have this Psycho Crusher that's slowly killing you while I don't actually hit you.
Could he arguably be the best Quick Taste character?
Not while Vicious is around.
Not while Vicious is around?
Yeah, not while Vicious
Okay, so
exists.
second best. I'm going to go second best then. So, because, like, he
maybe,
burns...
Codal also exists.
Fuck Codal. I don't care.
Yeah. Bison definitely, like,
He got
does
help.
get a lot of value out of
Yeah,
this
and
stuff.
and
But
that was a character I was really hyped to play in Street Fighter, and then I saw his attacks, and I'm like, cool, double knee press is awesome. All right.
For everybody.
For everybody. Yeah, I know. It's like, let's go. But yeah, that's one of my. I guess it's not really a pet deck. 'Cause I usually only keep certain
I don't
decks
know how
together.
we overlook this. You know which character gets really good from all the Mortal Kombat support is Scorpion 2 Dot.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, he does.
There you go. Yeah, he does. Scorpion.
Shockingly, right?
Shockingly. You got to stack them, man.
I like that everybody has, like, at least in like the Discord and stuff, has talked about what is it, Burying the Clan, which is a card that lets you be in makes your opponent in deadlock when they're not actually in deadlock.
Yeah.
All these amazing desperation cards, and Scorpion 2 Dot gets to be in desperation when he's not.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of scary.
Yeah. Yeah. And then because you 4X that, I don't know if you 4X it, but that Dr. Wily one, Genius Architect, that comes back to your hand after you blow it up or whatever. So,
oh, yeah, so you never have
and if you're on death.
Yeah, if you're on death. Or evil.
I could see him just doing fire.
Yeah, yeah.
Fire he doesn't have evil. He has void.
He has void?
Yeah, he has void.
That's sad.
Yeah. He got
the thing is, like, if he had evil, he would have gotten played more by now.
That's also true.
Like, that was the problem, is, like, all the stuff, basically, like, all of the desperation stuff, like, before this set,
that's true,
was almost all on evil.
Yeah, it was all
I guess it
too,
is still
right?
now, because Scorpion's the only one that has desperation attacks.
Yeah.
But, right, I mean, the thing is that with his symbols, I don't think Void had, like, anything.
Yeah.
And so it's really just, you had Fire and Death. And Death didn't have great options. I mean, even now, I guess you have all the Scorpion stuff, but it was pretty much just Spider Suplex.
Yeah.
You guys want to hear about some cool cheese potential?
Ooh.
Let's do it.
You play Graven Castle Ruins with Flame Aura.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there you go.
It's like, man, I blocked your attack. You sure are going to burn for some number. Oh, you blocked my attack because this card is worded really poorly? Like, you sure are going to burn for some number.
When I played in a little segue, I played in a sealed Turbo Deck event this past weekend where it was like you take the Scorpion versus Sub-Zero, and so 3 of us played Scorpion, 1 guy played Sub-Zero. Let me tell you something. The guy who played Sub-Zero was not very happy because Sub-Zero just gets his ass beat left and right. And Scorpion in that type of event, let me tell you that I had to block a 10 damage move and I took 9 damage. So that was not fun.
I mean, the thing is though, is like you say that, but I mean, I don't know. Rochester had like a similar thing where they had like Spike versus Vicious, and I think Vicious had like a winning record.
Well, no, so that's the thing. They talked about that last night on their show too, and they had the exact same experience we did because the the Spike versus Vicious decks are more balanced against each other, where the Scorpion one has all the stuff's playable, all committed, he just punishes Sub-Zero for hitting him, and I don't think that's I don't know. It's just they're just not balanced properly. Like Sub-Zero in the box needs more help from outside the box than Scorpion does. I don't know. I mean, the general
obviously we've talked a lot about playable unlimited stuff, which is just sure.
Yep.
Well,
I
haven't played it, so I don't know.
Yeah,
but
true.
I mean, I also know I did a demo once upon a time for a guy who bought Felicia and Talbane. And
that poor fellow.
And
had to play Jay Talbane at some point.
Well, that was the thing. So he was, I think he started with Felicia and I was playing Talbane, and he kept like overextending. So like I would like win here and there, and I was like, well, we can like, or he's like, I want to switch. I said, all right, and like he legitimately just like killed me on like turn 2 or 3 with Talbane, and like it wasn't like I gave him the game, like he won.
Yeah.
And I was like, this poor man is gonna think Talbane is miles better than Felicia because he just watched Talbane beat Felicia like 2 games in a row.
Yeah.
Oh well.
It happens.
That fool. Little did he know.
Little did he know. We're coming up on an hour-ish right now, so I don't know if we want to close it out or any final thoughts from anybody. I know that we're all pretty much in agreement that we like this set better than... Like, I liked Bebop for what it was, but it was insane. Just, like, it seems like they like Marco said, they've learned their lessons a bit, and they're not as linear characters anymore. They're just more interesting, and they do different things, and yeah, sure, everyone has like broken stuff, but you have to work for it. It's not just I play this. I check.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't really know if there's any missile launchers in this set.
I honestly,
there's a card that hates on missile launcher something fierce, so that's good.
Yeah.
That Katana Foundation sure does burn the player for like 1,000 if they play a missile launcher.
Yes, it does. I haven't noticed like a really like a big like a one attack that's just a missile launcher. You know.
Yeah.
It seems
I think a lot of people think the best attack in the set is like the Shinrai, like Ryukan or whatever, Takeda's thing.
Oh, the reversal?
Yeah. I mean, it's up there for sure.
I think the best attack in the set is Mimic. I think any attack that says this becomes another broken attack that I've already played has a very, very high ceiling.
Yep, I can see that. Yeah.
Like, I mean, like, just
going Missile Launcher Mimic is pretty good.
Day zero, just go Missile Launcher Mimic and then play your Mimic combo again with Takeda and be like, man, I sure did stun 4 and pump my attack by 8 damage. Like, this seems good. This can't be bad, right? Like, I think there's a lot of cool stuff in here, I think, like Rob said, but there's nothing that jumps off the page like a missile launcher, like a swimming bird, where like this, like, I think maybe the closest thing, like Sun God Choke, I feel is going to be a problem at some point down the road. Like, just auto snap momentum and then just randomly make an attack 8 damage.
Yeah. I can also see...
That thing works on multiples, so, like, oh man, like, I'll magically make my, like, multiple attack that doesn't actually have 3 damage or less, but really has like 6 damage, I'll make that 11 damage now. Yeah. So it's almost like I had an extra multiple copy.
Like, I think the closest attack that can be deemed worthy of like being called a missile launcher, like damage wise, is Nutcracker, because there's so many like Cassie's Cracker, because that's like 8 damage. Yeah,
but the thing is like, I mean, that's a lot of damage, I guess,
but it has no stun.
That's the thing is, missile launcher is just like, I checked a 5 and stunned you out, and you're going to take like 10.
Yeah,
and
that's also
unblockable.
True. Yeah, that's also true. Yeah.
And God forbid I have any momentum, because then you're just dead.
Then you're dead, yes. Yep.
So.
Yeah. I still think Jet is arguably the best character in the format. I still think. Just because...
I mean, it depends.
He's not bad.
He's not bad? Okay. Yeah.
As the format gets less like turn 2 randomly OTK you, Jet's just going to get better.
Yeah.
Like a format that gradually slows down into turn 4 or 5 is like the wheelhouse for Jet. And that's going to be really good.
Yeah.
Pack your stun hate.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, always.
Pack all your stun hate and pack your Katana 3/4 foundation so that when he does missile launcher you, he burns for like 9.
Like, they honestly have to think about pumping with Jet. If you have multiple, it's not unique, right? Yeah. If you have multiple copies out, like seriously, they have to be really careful, because they play one.
It does say printed on the card, but like it's the added total. So like missile launcher's keywords add up to 9.
Yeah. So if you have like 3 of them out, they're pretty much almost they're 3 away from dying. Yeah.
Oh yeah, like, or if I magically get all 4 out, Jet can never play a missile launcher.
That's one way to beat it.
Not even as a block, because it says plays a card.
Oh shit, it does. Oh wow, okay, cool.
Yeah, so it's just like, no, that missile launcher sure is just gonna be useless for the rest of the game for you.
That's pretty awesome.
They just start reviewing missile launchers.
a card that is a bit scary now that I think about it, and it's just because of how it's worded. I don't think it's going to see an errata, but Most Trusted Assassin does not have the caveat of it doesn't end your opponent's turn if they fail the check. And this card does share a symbol with Journey West.
Yes, it does. Yep.
So it's just like, man, if you're really committed to attacking me, like, that's neat, dude.
Yeah.
Better hope you don't fail.
Yep. Yeah, that's one of those evil zero diffs that Rob was talking about. That is just it's just insanely awesome. It's insanely good.
Yeah, it's like, or I'm at Desperation and I'm Vega. I will still play this ability.
Yep.
And like,
yeah, what's you have this stuff right now, right? What's Scorpion zero diff? Someone was talking about it, and it's not
I'll pull it up. I got all the cards right in front of me.
Scorpion zero diff is E flip. If you've lost Vitality this turn, your opponent's next check gets -1, playable while committed. Yep. And much like Most Trusted Assassin,
so
it doesn't say.
Cool.
Yeah.
It will end
their combat phase. Yep.
And it just says lost Vitality, so that counts as taking damage.
Yeah.
If you've hit me in the face, cool, that's neat.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. There's a lot of neat little things like that kind of like make the set just better than Bebop, in my opinion. There's little things like that, you know.
I did have a rules question while I have you guys both in here, because I don't know if it's been answered anywhere. Like, So in the case of Shinnok, if
Yeah.
I play a homing missiles, is my opponent allowed to cancel the ability?
Yes.
Yeah.
They are.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, like that. I've seen that thrown around a couple times. So like there is sort of like a little caveat in like the LGR, and basically what it says is that the part that like negates it, like it's like an optional thing for your opponent to pay.
Yeah, it's a cost
And-
to negate. It's not.
And
an
it
effect.
turns out that like I think the negation like is paying a cost,
Yep.
but the negation itself is not a
Part of
cost
the
due
effect.
to a cost or an effect.
Yep.
And so
Right,
because so like that's the thing is like because he says it can't be negated due to effects,
yeah,
like the way that the rules treat it is it's not it's like negated, I guess, just by like the game. It's not due to an
Mhm.
effect.
Yeah.
So it will still work. I know I've seen people just like, yeah, I'm just gonna do this and like they can
Yeah, I
like
was just
discard a
gonna
card
play
and lose
napalm
3 if
bombs
they
for 9
want.
years.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no, those can be negated if they do whatever the instruction on the card
Mhm.
is. So
Okay, that makes sense. That's good. That's good to know. Yeah, I mean, I think as a closing thought, everybody should go play God Ray and Plant Man.
oh, you know what else?
Oh.
Since talking
Oh,
about
yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh,
Plant
go for
Man.
it. Go for it. Go for
Yeah.
it.
one of the things that I know was sort of talked about early on, and I think there was a lot of coverage of it that was wrong, is it sounds like they have said that fade against actions that remove his cost. So like bang,
Punch and Judy.
the punch and Judy, stuff like that. The card will come back to your hand after
interesting.
cancel it. So like it won't stay gone. I mean, at least that's like the latest thing I've heard, and
Yeah, me too.
I haven't heard anything to like contradict that at this point. So
So-
for now, treat it as if it does go back to hand.
Yeah.
So.
and that makes sense because Fade doesn't specifically say they have to play it into their card pool.
Yeah.
So it just looks for the last card that was played.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So even if it's removed from the game, like it's like, well, there's where it is.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, I mean, then
I know,
someone will
like-
probably make the argument. It's like, well, it was in the transitional zone and then it got removed, so it changed game zone, so it's a different card. So
That's the
Fade
thing is,
can't
like,
hit
I
it.
just don't know how much of that like sort of exists in UFS. Like I'm used to it in other games where it's just like this changed zones,
Yeah.
and so like it's a different card, and I don't really know how much of that applies. I think the only thing I've heard sometimes will be like I remember it was something for like Brother Figure versus like Ever Hopeful. Like Ever Hopeful would like leave the card pool and come to your staging area, and
Mhm.
so like Brother Figure like couldn't destroy it because like it had like changed in like a certain way. But it's like something about like the fact that I guess like it's as a cost. Like by the time you're responding to it, like it's already in the remove from game
Yeah.
zone, so it's not like it's changing during the like window of your response. Like because that's the thing is like they removed it as cost, so
Right.
like it's already there by the time your window even opens. So
Yeah, timing windows in UFS have always been a bit of a train wreck, for lack of a better term.
yeah, I mean
Um,
we're all just doing the best we can.
Yes, we
yeah,
try.
for sure.
We really
No, I'm
try.
not disagreeing. But yeah, boys, definitely play your God Rays and your Plant Man decks.
Yeah, that's another character we forgot to mention was Plant Man.
Oh,
Plant dude.
shh. I'm gonna play that guy.
I mean,
So
like,
is everybody else.
I mean, there's
Look-
another guy who's really gonna like sadistic ways or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
I'll,
Yeah.
I'll pay to get 2 momentum and then get that like life right back.
Back. Oh
when
yeah,
I
yeah,
shoot the stack.
and speed, yeah, for sure. And even
Oh, yeah.
Kotal support too. The Saw Blade Strike and Sun God Choke. Sure, I'll get speed and then just dump 5 damage on something.
yeah.
Why not? You know, just whew. Like he really can play last of his kind pretty well. You know, he can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boys, I'm gonna tell you right now, you aren't ready for Rikuo to make a comeback, but it's gonna happen.
God.
I'm ready.
Be prepared for Rikuo to pack them cheeks in like you've never seen before.
I never got the pleasure of playing against the Rikuo, so I think I'm ready for an experience.
Oh,
So-
it's a fun time until you lose to it, and then it's not a fun time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I've lost
mean-
to Jet many a time, so I'm pretty sure it can't
that
be any
was
more
like
maddening
honestly
than that.
when we got all the characters at Worlds, I was like, man, I sure am playing Tengu Dive Liu Kang
Yep.
for the rest of my life because he gets to go mine for Tengu Dives with his ability.
That is also true.
Yeah, I guess that is a combo.
Yeah, it is a combo.
Yep.
And he can activate his R on it, which is fantastic.
And it works on your opponent's turn. So it's like, man, my opponent sure has been attacking me. Let me go craft this backswing really quick.
yeah, exactly. That's what
Yeah.
that's easily one of my top 3 favorites in the set because he's just so versatile like that. Where he can just he's like cool.
Dig for a backswing, dig for blocks.
Yeah. He's nuts. So. But okay, Rob, you got anything to close it up?
I think that's about it.
All right. I don't know what we're doing for next week. I know I want to start previewing the next week's following show, but I know in the works we have. We're gonna try to get with some of the UK guys, the last UK Nats champs, Dan, Mike, and Grant. We're gonna try to get them on.
Oh, so the team's champs. I gotcha.
Yeah, team's champs.
I was gonna say.
I guess Grant is one of the more recent singles champs.
Yeah. Like we can get Kevin on. Kevin will join. And then he can talk shit to them the entire time because I know he's going over, and so is Timmy Two Belts. So
Timmy Two Belts, the boy. I'm glad that.
Dude. So we're gonna try to get. I think their national championship is in October.
It's mid-September.
Mid-September.
It's like around.
It's basically the week after. I think it's the weekend after Labor Day weekend.
Okay, so we'll probably try to get them on sometime mid-August, maybe, and then we'll.
And that's basically like a week or 2.
Yeah. Oh, I know, but I just want to.
It's like 2 weeks.
Yeah, we're just maybe a couple weeks. We'll get them on and preview their big event because the UK don't get enough love. So
just find out what they're playing, pass that information along.
Whatever.
To Tim Keat.
We try to help out our boys. So, but yeah. So if anyone has any other topics you want us to discuss, please, you can private message us, post on the Guile Treatment Facebook page, or message one of us directly, or just. Call us idiots. I don't know. Whatever. But
we'll take it under consideration.
Yeah, we will. We may or may not talk about it.
Oh, do you have any shout-outs you want to give there, Chris? I know you gave some on the previous episode.
I did? I don't remember. So whatever. Anywho, for Rockford UFS content, we're going to be streaming locals tomorrow. I know that I know we have another store championship coming up. We got our new kit in. It's the Wrath of the Raging Demon playmat, and
does this have like the foils for like the
what
for like the stuff that wasn't in platinum?
No, this is not it yet. Sorry, you can't get your foil Gutsman yet. But we got Cowboy Bebop foils, like they pass out at Worlds. I think this is the first time they've passed these out to stores to pass out for prize support. So that's pretty cool. And then it's the same top 8 cards. So, if anyone needs foil Spiders and Dragons, we'll have tons of them. I already got a couple up. So, but other than that, like, comment, subscribe. I don't know. Marco, you got anything you want to plug before we go?
Shout outs to the Badger Club making our triumphant return this year at Nationals. Be ready for that.
Oh, man.
The band's back together.
But you guys aren't running like a bunch of one-checks this year, though, right?
I mean, not that you know of.
Oh, that I know
I'm not going to tell you what I'm playing.
Secret strats,
or what Rodney or Church are playing.
That's
It'll probably have Tango Dad in it somewhere.
That's part of the guest tax of being on the show.
Rodney coming back out of retirement, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
The band got back together for one more run, plus our card rotates next year, so we have to win a new one.
That's fair. There's a lot of people like that this year. I think Sean O'Brien even mentioned something last night about coming back out of retirement to win a card. Yeah, because his rotated. So I was like, okay, cool, man. That's awesome.
Like Piglet and I have the only 2 legal Atlanta champ cards.
That's pretty good, though. That's still good.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice feeling.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of cool.
Do they have any in the works? I don't even
know.
No.
No, like we haven't won anything. Like I was the last person.
A lot of Vegas and a lot of Omaha, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's nice to see new and upcoming play groups like actually winning stuff now.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like there's always been changing of the guards. Like when Atlanta got big winning our stuff, that was after Michigan had won a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
So
yep.
And before Michigan was Ohio. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So I think that's it. So we're gonna come to a close. Everyone have a good night. Take care of each other, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.